Hi, good morning, sir. So today our group want to present about fire hazard. So let me introduce our group members, which is me. I am Nur Najla Shabila binti Hasiza.
Hi, my name is Nurusnina binti Sahuri.
Hi, my name is Niurdina binti Mat Halim.
Hi, my name is Nurin Shirafatia binti Abdul Rahim.
So let's start. Firstly, introduction. Fire hazards are conditions that fire development or growth. Three elements are required to start and sustain, for example, oxygen, fuel, and heat. Because oxygen is naturally present in most Earth environments, fire hazard usually involve the mishandling of fuel and heat. Next, fire or combustion is the chemical reaction between oxygen and a combustible fuel. Combustion is a process by which fire converts fuel and oxygen into energy, usually in the form of heat. Byproduct of combustion include light and smoke. For the reaction to start, a source of ignition such as spark or open flame or a sufficiently high temperature is needed. Fire is a chain reaction. For combustion to continue, there must be a constant source of fuel, oxygen, and heat. In addition, heat always flows from a higher temperature to a lower temperature, never from a lower temperature to a higher temperature without an outset force being applied. Fires generate heat, which is necessary to sustain the fire. Excess heat is then transferred to surrounding objects, which may ignite or decompose. Heat transfer is accomplished by three ways, usually simultaneously: conduction, radiation, and also convection. Finally, conduction is direct thermal energy transfer. Materials near a source of heat absorb the heat, raising their kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy resulting from a moving object. Metals conduct heat at varying rates. Metals are very good conduction of heat. Concrete and plastic are poor conduction, hence good insulators. Also, convection is heat transfer to the movement of hot gases. The gases may be the direct product of fire, the result of the chemical reaction, or additional gases brought to the fire by the movement of air and heat at the fire surface by convection. Convection causes fires to rise as heat, rise and move in the direction of the prevailing air currents. So next, I will pass to Edina.
All right, thank you, Najla. Now is 2.0 content outline. Firstly is objective of the fire hazard. In this context, a control fire can have disastrous repercussions. As a result, everybody working in the process business should be aware of the dangers of fire. Students will explore real fires in process industry, learn to analyze fire risks and consequences, and learn how to avoid and manage fires in this fire hazard topic. This topic will equip students to spot and control fire hazard in a variety of process industries by taking an in-depth look at different types of fires, including beneficial applications, learning the necessary conditions for fires to develop, and assessing the flammability of various materials and fuels. Students will be able to analyze the effects of fire on people and equipment, as well as propose fire prevention and mitigation strategies for various hazards. The goal of this assignment is to learn how a fire danger might occur in the workplace. This fire hazard is extremely serious since it can hurt personnel as well as business. The fire at Sultana Amina Hospital in 2016 was, for example, caused by a short circuit. As a result, there are a variety of causes outside the short circuit that might result in requiring fires. We also determine the consequence that the fire hazard will have on the firm. This is because the firm and its employees will face a slew of issues in recouping the damage they sustain because of the fire. For example, a corporation will pay significant expenditures to repair damage caused by an accident, and workers will be responsible for the cost of treatment if they are wounded because of the accident. Lastly, we can predict the consequence of a fire danger occurring at a workplace. Next is factors. Firstly is human and negligence. Human mistake is one of the most prevalent causes of fire in the workplace. Untrained personnel might readily install flammable objects in the correct location, posing a fire danger. While it's impossible to totally eliminate the possibility of human error, fire safety training may go a long way toward informing your personnel about proper practice in the workplace. Human mistake is, without a doubt, one of the most prevalent cause of workplace fires. Fires can start for a variety of reasons, including poor equipment use, accidents, liquid spill on electric equipment, and leaving food unattended. Human error is a major cause of workplace fires, whether it's improper electrical equipment use, burning food, or leaving cooking unattended in the staff kitchen, or a lack of basic care of or awareness of procedures surrounding flammable or combustible substance and materials. In the workplace, human mistake and general carelessness are frequent fire hazard. Although it can never be completely eradicated, it can be managed and decreased with the right education and awareness. Secondly is heat generating objects. Equipment that is electrical or mechanical can overheat and catch fire. Keeping flammable things close by raise the chance of a fire. Equipment that overheats through excessive usage and sparks, whether it's an office computer or massive manufacturing gear, can cause a fire. It's near flammable materials. To reduce danger, put equipment away from these materials. Also, do not keep equipment on overnight unless absolutely essential and disconnect fully. Heat is one of the most crucial aspects of a fire. Some electric equipment and machinery head out when in operation, increase the risk of a fire igniting. Keep flammable objects such as pepper away from heat source, and if feasible, unplug and equipment that isn't used. Never keep any electrical equipment or machinery on overnight unless absolutely required. Rubbing alcohol, nail polish remover, and sanitizer and wart remover. In addition to gasoline and lighter fluid may readily catch the fire. The Federal Hazard Substance Act mandates that all flammable and combustible items must include a warning label. If there isn't enough ventilation, dust and powder from plastic, wood, and metal activities can build up and create explosion in enclosed locations. Lastly is storage of waste and combustible material. Combustible waste materials such as paper and cardboard have accumulated in many commercial buildings. When these materials are improperly disposed of or even ignored entirely, they can provide the perfect fuel for a fire if it starts. Storing these combustible materials in a single location can be disastrous for any workplace. Having a clear disposal strategy in place can help to reduce risks. This will ensure that any garbage is kept in a secure location away from main buildings and potential source of ignition. Many workplaces, particularly office, can accumulate waste such as paper, cardboard, and other combustible materials. If this is not disposed of on a regular basis, it will provide plenty of fuel for any potential fires that may break out. All it takes is a source of ignition, such as discarded cigarette, to set this alight, and it could result in a fast-burning fire. Combustible materials should never be kept closer than 36 inches to a heating appliance or an electrical light. Items that are no longer in use should be disposed of properly to avoid stacking and accumulation on counters, cabinet tops, floors, and desks. Now I will pass to Najla.
Okay, thank you, Edina. So next, I will explain about the effects. Firstly, the company suffers a loss. Okay, accidents that occur in the workplace will have an influence on the business if they involve company personnel. When an accident occurs, the organization will suffer losses as a result of having to support medical expenditures if any members are injured, as well as having to pay compensation for the mishap. Next, if a production accident happens, resulting in a tool and machine damage, businesses are compelled to acquire new tools using company funds that could have been spent on other things. Then accident at work will also slow down the company's output. If there is an accident that results in harm or death, the organization will face difficulties. Okay, this is because if an employee gets injured, they are unable to perform their duties, causing their work process to slow down owing to a labor shortage. The organization needed to find someone to take the wounded workers' place. Finding and training new workers, on the other hand, will take a long time. So management must relocate the center and critical purpose of the business in the event of a fire in the building office. Lastly, this has an impact on management and the health of work operations. Okay, secondly, trauma in organizations. Employees who are exposed to a fire danger may find it difficult to return to work, since a fire mishap might result in injuries ranging from mild to fatal. However, some employers will provide them with insurance coverage while they are on the job in the case of an international mishap. This is because a company's priority is employees, and if there are no employees, the company's daily operation will be disrupted. Then the employee that loses trust in the firm since, in most cases, the fire danger is caused by the employee's company carelessness. Because safety is the most crucial component when working, this leads the employee to lose trust and comfort in the organization. Employers are likely to have employees to lose a variety of trauma-focused physical support system in place or in trauma if trauma expert is a known risk. In other workplaces, this may be far less common. Many managers in business that do not deal with trauma on a regular basis may find themselves in the difficult situation of needing to help their employees and maintain company continuity without a clear plan in place. After a tragic loss, they must ensure that they have enough time and space to grieve and support one another. Rather than telling employees what they must perform, ask them what they require. Inquire of employees who are having difficulties, what they want their learn to know, and what they require to feel protected at work. So that's all from me. Next, I pass to Eric.
Thank you, Najla. Okay, the third is the company reputation is a fact. Fire starting in a business can have a huge impact on a brand's reputation, and the effect of this is not always seen straight away. It is said that 80% of a business value comes from the hard to access and integrable customers' awareness and loyalty, and if it is damaged, this can be hard to overcome and fix. A company's reputation is one of its biggest and most important assets which make it successful. Customers may be concerned that the products they are buying are no longer good quality and they will go elsewhere to a competitor. Business that they work with or alongside may no longer trust company business if the legal and required fire-prevention precautions have not been taken and the proper procedure in place. If companies are not able to provide a service or product to customer even for a short period of time, this will impact their loyalty and trust, and they will often seek out of a competitor. When customers become aware that company is not functioning from its usual premise, the reputational damage can have a huge impact. Even with temporary accommodation in place, many businesses find that customer attrition rates increase as service delivery reduce. Ensuring employees are happy is not just a way to build up business internal culture, it also impacts public reputation. Satisfied teams feel positive about their jobs and have a stronger sense of attachment, and this reflects in the service they deliver of product they produce. And fire can damage and influence how an employee feels about the business they work for. Potential new employees will be less likely to apply for jobs in a business that has experienced a fire and who has reputation and brand has been impacted. Injuries and fatalities from a fire can ruin a brand reputation. Next, I will explain about the strategies. First, create employee education and training programs. Prevention is only effective when everyone participates. If a single employee causes or fails to report a fire hazard, all other prevention strategies may be rendered ineffective. Organizations ensure that proper fire prevention procedures are followed at all times by raising awareness and training employees on them. This reduces the likelihood of any fire-related incidents. Fire safety training in the workplace is extremely important because it helps employees recognize the need for fire safety and what steps they can take to keep the damage to a minimum in the event of a fire. Employees are sensitized to care and precaution required to prevent a fire through this type of training. Aside from raising awareness, the law requires fire safety training in some areas. It also ensures that an employee understands what to do in the event of a fire. It will also shield the organization from potential legal action. Fire prevention depends on people knowing about the fire and the effect of the fire. Through educational programs, fire and extinguishing methods can be identified and discussed. A manager should also be responsible for the ongoing and repetitive education need to develop fire prevention habits among building occupants. Next, I will pass to Nur Husnina.
All right, thank you, Erin. The second point of strategies is ensure that all buildings are up to code. Take into account all aspect construction, such as roof type, main structure, and exterior and interior finishing materials. The building should be designed to suit its use, taking into account the occupancy and activity that take place in it. Buildings should be either fireproof or non-flammable. All structures are built to withstand all natural and man-made hazards. As a result, the material used in the building must be resistant to such hazards. To withstand a fire, all material must not be combustible and must have properties that allow them to withstand fire for a longer period of time. Building codes include detailed provisions for preventing fires, managing their effects, and ensuring life and structural safety while limiting property and life losses. Building codes and standards provide guidelines for both the design and assessment of structural members and assemblies fire resistance. In the case of building fire design, Code 7 specify the function of building element under fire exposure, the required fire ratings for building elements, material recommendation, and evacuation strategy guidelines. These recommendations differ depending on the type of occupancy, such as a hospital, a commercial building, or a residential building, among others. The third point is appoint internal health and safety officers. While our employees should be involved in fire prevention, assigning direct responsibility to a small group increase the likelihood of compliance. These employees should be well versed in a prevention strategy as well as the tasks or people for whom they are responsible in the event of a fire. Safety officer can also serve as a liaison between frontline employees and risk manager. In a nutshell, the health and safety officer role in to prevent workplace accidents, injuries, and illness. They have a wide range of responsibilities to ensure that the workplace maintains high level of health and safety. They must develop and implement policies and procedures that adhere to current legislation. It is also their responsibility to ensure that all employees follow the policies and procedures. Another important aspect of a health and safety officer job is to conduct regular inspections and report their findings in risk assessment, which are used to ensure that any hazards are corrected and risks are kept to a minimum. They will also be in charge of the workplace accident board and will truly investigate any accidents that occur. Health and safety officer must also ensure that all employees receive adequate health and safety training for their job. These include distributing required training such as fire awareness and manual handling. All right. Recommendation on how to avoid fire it is increase number of detected devices. Increasing the number of smoke or CO detection devices is one thing that can prevent fires. This is life-saving device that will give early warning of life-threatening incidents. Carbon monoxide, CO, is an odorless, colorless, and tasteless gas known as the silent killer that is the most deadly byproduct of fires. Interfering with, shutting down, disabling a fire detector is a criminal offense punishable by imprisonment and fines as well as disciplinary action. If the carbon monoxide alarm sounds, it detects a potentially harmful amount of carbon monoxide. After a professional assess the condition, make sure no one experiences any system of carbon monoxide poisoning. Removing gas from the body is a different story. Carbon monoxide has a half-life in the human body of 5 hours. This means that if they breathe fresh air without carbon monoxide, it will take 5 hours to remove half of the carbon monoxide from their system. Early systems are similar to the flu without a fever and can include dizziness, severe heat, nausea, drowsiness, fatigue, or weakness and confusions. Next, smoke only outside the body. Negligence due to smoking is a major cause of fire everywhere. If you smoke, use a large, heavy cigarette ash container. Do not allow the cigarette ash container to become full, which can cause hot dust to fall. Make sure cigarette butts are completely extinguished before disposal. Set off outdoor smoking zones specifically for employees who smoke. There are also trash cans suitable for employees to dispose of the cigarettes properly. Smoking indoor or improperly disposing of cigarettes can cause workplace fire. Container smoke can pass through doors, create in walls, power lines, ventilation system, and pipes. So it can cause a fire if there is a leak in the building. Indoor or other indoor workplace do not contain the same protection against the effect of passive smoking as the outdoor environment. For example, movement of fresh air. Accordingly, they do not mimic the external environment in the sense of the constant and significant movement of fresh air that can inadvertently reduce the inhalation of tobacco smoke by others. Smoking in enclosed public places is prohibited under the HE. Last but not least, the flammable nature is very important for the fire safety of material. In this case, all non-compositions are divided into flammable and non-flammable. Based on the quality of this material, it is possible to calculate in advance the optimal option for fire protection of the structure even at its design stage. This is a tree is some specialized workplace such as industries that produce flammable materials such as ethylene, oil, and so on. The storage room. Generally, this room is strictly guarded by a fire alarm system. The room where there are usually flammable liquids and vapors is the kitchen. This steam or gas is very dangerous because it is connected with heat, and the danger is not only fire but also explosions. To reduce the risk of fire, always ensure that flammable liquids are stored and sealed properly. Prepare any flammable materials in a safe and secure area. Read all warning labels and make sure you store the ingredients in a clean, tidy, and cool area. Make sure you mark the storage area clearly as well to make sure staff are aware of their presence. Alright, the last presenter I will pass to Harry. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. In conclusion, the fire hazard and risk in workplace cannot be avoided especially, but the risk can be reducing by certain steps or procedure that has been outlined by the parties involved, such as State in Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994. The company or organization should follow all the guidelines that has been stated in OSHA 1994 in order to reduce the risk in fire hazard. The organization should provide and prepare to meet all requirements that need by the industry to run the business. The fire hazard can cause property damage, loss of life, or personal injury if cannot be controlled wisely and effectively. Other than that, in order to reduce the risk of fire hazard in workplace, the fire safety procedure should be emphasized. Fire safety is the arrangement of practice plan to lessen the pulverization brought about the fire. Fire safety measures incorporate those that are expected to counteract start of a non-controller fire, and those that are utilized to restrain the improvement and impacts of a fire after it begins. Fire safety measures incorporate those that are arranged amid the development of a structure of execute in structure that are already standing. A fire hazard may incorporate a circumstance that improves the probability of a fire of may obstruct escape in the occasion a fire happens. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.